bought her a ring. He bought her a dog. He bought her a dog. As she said her name Divine, she got the big earrings that I bought her with her name in it. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Urban Curse, and I want to welcome you back to Undi TV, where everything is undiluted. And if you guys have not yet hit that notification bell, hit that like button, or even subscribe to this channel, please go ahead and do those things now, because I'm telling you, these stories get better and better and better. And also I have other content on here, which is vlogs and all that. I should have another vlog channel, but forget that. This is me. This is what you're gonna get. It's undiluted. We dealing with one channel at a time. So this is part 3 of the Romeo and Juliet story. Now this story, this part of the story, man, I had to go back a little bit because I kind of left some things out in the last video. Now, Juliet had a adopted mother. I don't want to get into what happened to her real mother or anything like that. That's just not where we going at right now. Now, her adopted mother was somebody that, God rest her soul, because she wound up, she's passed. And this woman, I love this woman. Like, this woman was the realest. She helped me out even when she wasn't supposed to help me out. Like, she just helped me to the core. Now, during this time of me dating Juliet, before I found out she was a stripper and all that other crazy stuff, her mom used to come and pick her up, and they would go out for dinner and stuff like that. And then of course she introduced me to her mom, and her mom was a social worker. So when Juliet leaves to go back to North Carolina, where she goes, we wind up kind of like almost rekindling a little bit, but we wouldn't get back together, because when she got back to North Carolina, she called me. She was like, hey, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, all right, cool, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? I'm still mad at her, but at the same time, I'm still in love with this girl. I'm simping. Like, I'm simping, bruh. Like, I can't simp like that no more, but I was simping. Like, I was in love with this girl. She called me, she said, hey, I'm pregnant. Now at this time, I already have at this time, I wound up having my son mother pregnant at this time. So I'm like, ain't no way in the world I can have 2 babies on the way. It's like, I can't, this is not possible. There's no way in the world. So I was like, hey, you know what? All right, cool, you pregnant? Send me a sonogram. She said, okay. Never seen the sonogram. Come to find out, she wasn't pregnant. I wound up talking to her later, like months later, and she was telling me how she lied because she wanted money and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, damn, why would you do that to me? Like, so now a woman can never tell me that she's pregnant without me actually seeing proof, and I'm not sending you any money because she wanted to get a susmotion, and I'm not with susmotions. Like, I'm not with susmotions at all. That's just not my thing. If I get you pregnant, we're having that baby. Like, I'm just gonna have to figure it out later. Like, I'm on whatever, is it child support, whatever the case may be. I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with that, because I laid down with you. I had to have this baby. It is what it is. Even if I don't want to be with you and I don't like you, I still have to have this baby. So at this time, when she moves back to North Carolina, her adopted mom and I got close, like really close. Her mom used to do my taxes, all of that type of stuff. Like, she used to give me, she was like a mentor to me. She used to give me advice and all of that stuff. I remember one time her mom, she was dropping me off after doing my taxes, and I was working security at Red Cross, and she said to me, she said, hey, no, I was talking to her and I was telling her how, man, Juliet, I give her all my passwords. She know all my email stuff. I don't keep nothing from her. Like, everything, I give her all of me, you know, all this stuff and stuff like that. And I was literally giving this woman everything. Like, I gave her whatever was in me, and whatever I owned was hers, and all that stuff like that. And I remember her mother turned around and looked at me. She said, don't you ever in your life give a woman everything of you. You keep something for yourself, because when they're gone, you're gonna have nothing, and they're gonna have them and whatever you gave them, which is your heart, your soul, your money, whatever the case may be. Don't give them everything. She said, I don't care if it's even my own daughter. And when I looked at this woman like, oh my God, like, whoa, I didn't know none of this. Now, come to find out, during that time, I was asking her questions about her daughter, because she knew more about when she was in North Carolina than I did. Because I really didn't want to ask what was going on down there, because I really didn't care. I was just so happy that she was back. Like, I was just so happy that we got to rekindle everything, that we was back in the mode, that we back in, you know, seeing each other and all that stuff like that. I just started asking questions, and then while I'm asking questions, her mom was just giving me information. Let me tell you, I asked the question of, who is that guy she got tattooed on her arm? Yeah, I left that part out in the last video. She had a big tattoo right here. I don't want to say the name because he might be watching, and I don't know, it's not even his fault. So I'm trying to figure out who is this guy name. She said, oh, that's such and such, and they were engaged. Are you serious? Like, are you really serious? You said she was engaged? Like, I wanted to marry this girl. She was engaged. She never told me she was engaged. I'm like, wait a minute. She said, yeah. He bought her a ring. He bought her a dog. He bought her a dog. I ain't got no money to buy her no dog. Like, we living at my mother's house right now. What are you talking about? She put what? So I'm kind of intimidated at this time because I'm like, I don't know what this guy looks like. I don't know. I'm like, maybe he look better than me. He got more money than me. He got this, that, and the third. He got money to buy her a ring. Got money to buy her a dog. All this other craziness. I'm just saying to myself like, yo, this was like heartbreaking. And I'm like just putting all this stuff together. Like, how is this possible? So at this time, I didn't know that she was keeping in touch with this guy. And she kept in touch with this guy the whole time we were together. Like, I literally uprooted my son's mother out of, well, I didn't really uproot her. She kind of left, but still at the same time, it was just a whole bunch of hoopla within that time. It was just like everything was just crazy at the time because I left her for her type of thing. So fast forward, like I said, she went back to North Carolina. Now when she went back to North Carolina, she wound up getting pregnant. Now when she gets pregnant, I don't know what really happened down there. I can't even really remember what exactly happened, but I know she wound up moving back to Baltimore with her adopted mom. Now her adopted mom was doing everything for her. Like, she didn't have no job or none of that stuff. And when she came back, I was still kind of simping a little bit. We weren't sleeping together because she was pregnant, and I was just like, whatever, you know, I'm not even with all of that type of thing. But I still cared about this girl, and I still loved this girl. Like, I was still in love with her. And even though she was like, she did what she did and everything, and I'm just like, yo, there's no way in the world I could still be in love with this girl, and she broke my heart the way she did. Like, there's no way. Why am I still in love with her? Like, why am I still doing this? So at this time, I would leave my son's mother, because we wound up getting back together after my son was born and all that stuff like that. And I would leave my son's mother and go help Juliet and her mom, like, put together her crib and, you know, get the baby room together. And I'm like, this is not my kid. I got my own kid to worry about, but I'm still helping her doing this because I was in love, and I'm still like, you know, I don't want to be with her, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, I don't want to see her do bad. And then she was looking good too, like, even though she was pregnant, curse out crazy, but she was looking good. She, you know, she just had a thing over me. Not anymore, but she had a thing over me. She wound up ditching her godmom and going back down south. She wound up having a baby. She leaves the baby down there with the father. She comes back up north. She moves back to Baltimore after the fact. Now here I go again after she had the baby. Now I'm saying to myself, she ain't got the baby no more. I could go ahead and crank that. But at this time, I wound up getting an apartment. And I got this apartment with my son's mother. I was the head of the household, all that crazy stuff, but I wound up getting an apartment with my son's mother because my son's mother was living in Delaware, and I want my son in Delaware and all that stuff. That's a whole nother story. I gotta figure that, how to tell y'all that story. So we living in this house, and here I go again. Start corresponding. I don't even know how we keep in touch like that. And now this is the time of texting, and you know, that's when texting and everything started being a big thing and all of that stuff like that. Like, I think MySpace, we probably hooked up through I don't know how we even hooked back up again, but maybe through her mom. I think it was through her mom. I want to say it's through her mom. And we get to texting back and forth, and we was like sexting. Like, we were like, you know, going like explicit stuff. And I'm with my son's mother again. So one night, my son's mother decides to go on my phone and text Juliet some crazy stuff and tell her not to call my phone no more, text my phone no more, all this other stuff. Now, I'm saying to myself, like, why would you do that? So I'm at work, and I'm working, this time I'm working in Red Cross now. I'm like a lab tech or whatever the case may be, doing some stuff. And I get a phone call from my son's mother like, hey, they at the front door. I'm like, who's they? She's like, Juliet and her sister's at the front door. I'm like, what? Because Juliet got a bunch of sisters or whatever the case may be. Like, shout outs to them. I'm not trying to badmouth Juliet. It's just, this is just my story. This is what it is. Like, so they at the door, they trying to get into the house, everything. So I'm 30 minutes away. I call my cousin Andre, and when I call him, I'm like, yo, you need to get me back to the house because all of this going on and this and the third. Like, even though I've been corresponding with Shorty, I'm still not gonna let nobody come to my house and like disrespect my son's mother and disrespect my house and all this other stuff. I can't allow that. Like, especially when you coming with your sisters, knowing that me and you would just been corresponding back together and this and the third. And I was just like, I can't allow it. Man, on the way there, we get to like the Alameda, which is a street like a halfway point to where I live. And literally, ironically, my cousin pull up and they pull up right beside us. They just left the house, and I'm looking over and I look at them, and she looked, and her eyes get, now this is Juliet eyes, she poof. Man, it was the red light. They skirted off. Skirt. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I said, yo, my cousin said, you want me to follow? You want me to follow? I said, no, let me get to the house because I don't know what's going on at the house, whatever the case may be. Get to the house, everything is cool, all of that. Now, about maybe a year later, me and my son mother get into a big hoopla, and we wound up breaking up and everything, and she wound up moving out. Now one day I went to the laundromat to go wash my clothes because the place I live at didn't have a wash and dry and all that stuff. So I'm sitting there washing my clothes, and I'm folding my clothes, and all of a sudden this guy came in. This was CDs and DVDs was like the thing. Like everybody was selling bootleg CDs and DVDs. Hey, don't come lock me up, FBI, for buying bootleg CDs, DVDs. So the guy came in with a book bag. He said, hey, look, I got some CDs and DVDs I'm trying to get rid of. Like I got only a few left. Like, you know, just go through the bag. He had a nice, you know, book bag was full of CDs and DVDs, but it was like, you know, one of each type of thing. So he dumped the book bag out, and he went on by his business to wash his clothes, and he just let me go through the CDs and stuff like that. So I started picking up some CDs and DVDs. So I pick up about maybe 7 to 8 DVDs. I think I even picked up more than that because they were like $1 a piece or something like that. And I picked them up, and I went to the house. The next day, I had to go work with my mom because I was working like 3 jobs at the time. Like I was doing Red Cross, I was doing cleaning. Okay, plane. So I was working Red Cross. I was doing some cleaning stuff with my mother because my mother owned her own cleaning business, and I was selling little, you know what I mean? I was selling some money at the time, you know what I mean? I was doing my thing. So I was just exhausted. So this day, I said, you know what? I'm waiting on my mom to come and get me. Let me put these DVDs in my computer real quick and see if they working. So I was just going through the chapters. I'm like, you know, just hitting a little button, and like, okay, cool, this chapter work, this chapter work, this chapter work. Put the next one in. Again, keep doing it. Now I get to this DVD. At the time, this was the Come Up DVD. I don't know if y'all remember Come Up DVDs. It was like Smack DVD and all of that, where they had like the rappers on their rapping. They had little videos and stuff like that. But this one was a stripper edition. You know what I'm saying? Ironic, right? Just that I bought a stripper edition after dealing with a stripper. So I get on there. I'm sorry. I start looking at the video, and I'm going through the chapters. Man, I get to like, let's just say I get to like chapter 10. Chapter 10, I see Juliet face pop up on the DVD. You see my face now? That's exactly how I looked. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Then after I see Juliet face, I see her sister face on there. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, rewind a little bit. I was keeping in touch with Juliet here and there, and she told me that she was a bartender at this strip club. It was a big, I guess it's a big strip club. I've never been to a strip club in New York before, but it was called the Players Club. And this girl was on this DVD, and she was on there talking about, my name Divine, and I'm such and such, come to the Players Club. And her eyes low, so I know she drunk and high and all, like she just looked zooted, like she didn't just look clear like herself. And then her sister standing there next to her, she looked zooted and everything, and it was just like, it was just real weird to see her. But as she said her name Divine, she got the big earrings that I bought her with her name in it, which, like I said, I'm calling her Juliet, so we're just gonna say it was Juliet on the earrings. And I'm looking at her like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? You must be stupid. Because I know in the world you got Juliet in your ears, but you say, my name Divine. And I'm just like disgusted at this point. At this point now, I'm not even in love anymore. At this point, I don't even care about her at this point. Because I'm just like, this is who you are. Like, you're going to be this girl for the rest of your life. But she lied to me. Like, she was just lying to me the whole time. Like, all right, boom, I'm just tripping. I'm just bartending. And I remember when she called me one night, I was working, and she was like, hey, I know you got your situation and I got my situation, but when I come into Baltimore, can we just be together when I get there, and when I leave, you know, you can just keep doing your thing. And I told her no. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not even going down that road because I don't even want you to hurt me again. And I didn't even know, like I said, that she was full-fledged stripper now, like full-fledged. She wound up dating the owner of the club, because that's why she called me, because I guess she was having problems with the owner of the club and everything, and she was dating him, and she was just talking about how he was an older guy, and she didn't want to deal with him no more and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, well, you can't come back here. You can't come over here for nothing. For nothing. Man, when I tell you, I was so mad and distraught at the same time. And like, I just was disgusted. I was like, ain't no way in the world you're still doing the same stuff and you're just going downhill. And mind you, I never said this in the other videos, she was an intelligent girl. She's a woman now, but she was intelligent, like pretty and smart as hell, but she made stupid decisions. And I think a lot of that came from her upbringing of not having her parents in her life at that time, and her moving back and forth and bouncing back and forth. And I understand it now, but back then I really didn't understand it, because I'm like, how could you be this way? How could you mess over somebody that showed you nothing but love and showed you nothing that they cared, and their family also showed you that they cared and everything? You know, the moral of this story is sometimes you gotta let people go if you know you love them. Even though you care about them, even though you want to see them do good, you want to see them prosper, if they don't want to do good for themselves, you can't force them. You just can't. Like, you cannot force them to become something that you want them to be. They have to do whatever. They have to become something that they want to be. They have to become greater when they want to be it. You know, they have to evolve when they want to evolve. And she evolved. I spoke to her maybe about a year and a half ago, and I guess she's doing better. She's not a stripper anymore. She has a bunch of kids now. She's married and everything like that, or the case may be. You know, we flirted back and forth for a little bit, but that was it. Like, we don't really like keep in contact anymore like that. I wish her the best. I really do wish her the best. You know what I mean? I would never be in love with her again. Do I still love her? Yes. And I love her because of the person that I dealt with. I loved her as just as that person, but I don't like her character. The move that she made back then, it just didn't coincide with what the moves I was making. And I don't hold any hard feelings to her at all, because like I said, I wouldn't even talk to her a year and a half ago if I did. It was just the fact that I went through so much with her, and it altered me as a human being when it comes to relationships. So guys, just be careful, and women, be careful of the people that you bring into your life and how much you put forth to another person, because they may not be able to give you the same love in return, or the same respect, or the same whatever. They just can't do it. They're just not capable of it, because they don't know how. They just don't know how to, because they weren't taught or just not in them. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's gonna be more videos coming. I got a whole bunch of stories coming. I'm sure I'm gonna remember stuff in between this, maybe, who knows, about other stories. It's your boy URBEN CURRSE. It's UNDI TV, but everything is undiluted. It's your boy.